want to be known as a liar. Oh. He's not going to show up if I keep burping like that. My backyard right now. I was just taking a new headshot because I need a headshot for something I'm doing for work. And over my shoulder, right back here, eagles have been hanging out there for a few days. And I thought they were just hanging out on a little bit of exposed log or something that froze in the water. But it turns out there's actually a deer carcass. And just a minute ago, I could tell with my camera because the light was shining on it as the sun was setting. And the sun's not shining anymore, so it's not worth trucking down there because the eagles are going to leave and there won't be any pictures. But I think sometime this weekend or in the next couple days, while there's still a little bit of ice, I might try and capitalize on this and take some images of them feeding on the deer carcass, which is a little gory, but I just think it's a super cool opportunity to kind of get some nice videos and images. Well, the light's not as nice tonight as it was last night, but I absolutely need to try and get closer to that deer carcass and see if any more eagles or other birds show up tonight. I'm a little nervous though because it was fairly warm today and I'm gonna have to walk on some ice that I don't really know the depth of. I'm not gonna go farther than a few feet offshore though, so I'm not overly concerned. Plus I have these doohickeys so that if you fall through the ice, you can jam these in and pull yourself back up. So I don't necessarily recommend walking on ice you're not familiar with. But if you do, at least be prepared. Plan now, trudge 500-600 meters this way, hang out on the shore for the next 2 hours or so until sunset. That tends to be when the eagles are the most active, and see if anything shows up. I will admit this is definitely not my smartest idea, but how can I pass up this opportunity? So you might be able to see it. It's right around there. I'm not super far away from it now. There's no movement there currently. I think I'm gonna get just a tiny bit closer and try and find a spot where I'm not exposed on all sides. The eagles may not be here tonight. They've definitely eaten a good portion of it already. But I'm sure some other scavengers will be around, maybe. And yeah, I mean, you can't pass this opportunity. It's so unique, so I'll go find a nice little hiding spot. Sorry, the filming of myself tonight may not be the best. It's not the easiest conditions. And I may have made a mistake. I had the big spikes on my tripod and I took them off to put on the rubber feet. I'm thinking maybe I should have kept the spikes on, but we'll see. As I was getting my camera set up and trying to find the most comfortable spot on this log, I had a lot of time to think about how this deer ended up here in the ice. My best guess is that it tried to cross the river, unfortunately broke through, and was unable to climb back up onto the ice. Ultimately, that resulted in the interesting scene here in front of me. The lack of sun tonight might be challenging in terms of photography and also activity. You know, birds and anything else that might come by are probably more active when there's nice light, but yeah, I've got a pretty good vantage point now, and I'm ready if anything shows up. So I'm not going to change anything with my main camera because I want it trained on where I think the eagle's going to land, but an eagle just showed up. It's around there somewhere. It's just circling around, but I'm super hopeful it's going to make its way over here, and this is very promising. Even though I was trying to maintain my positive attitude, I was gradually losing confidence that I'd have any sightings of scavengers this evening. A second eagle had flown overhead, and I began to hear many crows, but unfortunately, it didn't look like anything was going to land in my frame. I think I'm a little bit too late to the party. The deer's been here for, well, I'm not sure. It's been here for at least one whole day. 2 days, I suppose. But it's probably been here for 3 or 4 days, and maybe everyone's already had their fix. Everyone's already had enough venison, no one's hungry anymore. Or it's just because it's really cold and windy. Even birds don't want to be exposed out there on the ice necessarily. I'm not calling it just yet, but it is very cold. The sun is setting in 10 minutes. And I've just been constantly changing the settings on my camera because the exposure just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping as it gets darker. There's no light here tonight. There won't be a pretty sunset, unfortunately. Even though I've gotten absolutely skunked tonight, nothing landed, not even a crow. I did see eagles on 2 separate occasions, but no luck this evening. I'm not going to let that dampen my spirits, though. Weather permitting, and if there's enough ice, I'll come back out tomorrow. I'll try and time it when there's some light. They tend to be more active when there's a little bit of light, and there's a storm coming, so maybe everything will try and feed in the calm before the storm. Well, it's the next day, and I still have this goofy microphone set up, but all morning I've been worried because it's been a lot warmer and there's a lot more water on top of the ice today. So I was worried that the deer may have sunk all the way down through the ice. That hasn't happened. It's still just barely peeking out. We have quite a bit of nice light right now. You can see some blue sky behind me, so hopefully I can make my way back down to where I was yesterday. It might be a bit more challenging because there's some more open water today. But I'll try my best. I'll get as close as I safely can. Hopefully the same spot as yesterday. And stay there for as long as I can. Well, we have a bit of a problem this morning. This right here gets much deeper than the rest of it. So even just wading through the water behind me, if I broke through the ice, it was no big deal because it's only a couple inches deep. I stepped right here and I almost sunk my boots. So I can't bushwhack through this right now. Unfortunately, it's other people's property and it's quite dense. So I'm very far away, quite a bit farther than yesterday. The carcass is way over there. And now the scenery is not as nice behind it anymore. I'm looking out towards a road. But still, this is just such a cool opportunity. I can't get as close, but I'm still willing to wait here for quite a while and see if anything shows up. Since I was unable to get as close to the deer as I was the previous night, I had to make the most of what I could, which was sitting on a rock just millimeters above the water. And after sitting still, in silence for hours, I began to go a little crazy. I hear lots of crows. I can't believe there's no crows over there. Nothing at all. If I was a bird, I'd be over there. Man, if I was a fox, I'd be over there. We don't really have coyotes, but if I was a coyote, I'd be over there. 5.5 hours sitting out here, cold feet in cold icy water. Uncomfortable seats. Last night I had a thin log. Tonight I have a rock. And nothing to show for it. It's strange because I'm disappointed that I didn't get any images. And I didn't even see anything particularly cool. But I don't regret doing it. Like, I really enjoy this process. Just being here. And if there had been something, be even better. But this is still great. Just sitting here, nothing to worry about except looking in one direction and waiting for something to show up. So I've just run down to the water because I just got home from doing some errands, I noticed that there's an eagle actively feeding. Sorry, I'm out of breath from running, literally. The eagle is actively feeding on the deer carcass, and the water has frozen again entirely, so I can walk down there safely. So I'm going to try and get closer, as close as I can, but I really don't want to scare it away or interfere with what it's doing. So the goal for today, because it was here before me, is to get any footage at all. It might not be the best footage ever, but getting any kind of footage of this eagle feeding, whether it's videos or images, I'll be super, super happy. I really don't want to scare it away. I'm going to kind of approach in increments. So I've gone about 100 meters from where I just was. And there's definitely a better vantage point from here. I'm a little bit closer. And because I want to get some kind of footage, I'm just going to relax here for a minute. So the two things I'm worried about are me accidentally scaring the bird, which would suck because I won't get any footage and I don't want to scare him away from his dinner. But also because the river has frozen over again completely, the snowmobiles have been out, and they kind of go right through the middle of the river, which is exactly where the eagle and the deer carcass are, so if they go by, they're going to scare him away for sure. This is awesome. I'm getting a lot closer now. I'm probably only about 120 meters away from him now. And I've made quite a bit of noise walking on the ice and speaking. I haven't scared him away yet, so this is promising. I've gotten the best vantage point I think possible. I'm still on the shore, but I'm basically parallel to the bird now. As you've just seen, I was able to capture lots of great video and images from that vantage point, but I decided I wanted to get a little bit closer. So I decided to walk out further onto the ice and get as close to the eagle as it would let me. Unfortunately, I was too low to the ground, which caused two slight problems. The first problem was that since I was so low to the ground and it was very cold, you could see ripples in the air caused by the temperature differential. The other problem was that since I was so low to the ground, you could barely see what the eagle was feeding on. Regardless, I still really like this footage, and I was able to stay within 20 meters of the eagle for 15 minutes or so before a crow showed up and it decided to fly away. Photography is so amazing. Today's just the prime example. I had no plans, no expectations today, and it just so happened that as I was driving home, I noticed the eagle. I've spent 3 dedicated days where I did nothing except sit here for 3.5 hours watching the deer. Nothing. Didn't see anything. No eagles. No crows. No deer. Nothing. Tonight, I've seen 2 deer crossing the river over to my left, and now there's like 7 or 8 deer all the way across the water. And I'm just, taking some pictures. They're not great. Capturing a little bit of video, and it's great. It's just so, photography is the best. It's just, everything's unexpected, and you just have to be ready for anything and enjoy the process. Two weeks of sitting out here, countless hours in the cold, freezing my hands, and nothing at all, until tonight. I've been rewarded by a whole bunch of cool different interactions. So just such a cool opportunity that I had to capitalize on, which was a little bit weird because I almost felt obligated to come out here, because it's so close to home. How could I not? So it was kind of tough to find that balance, but I'm super happy I came out tonight. I almost didn't. The biggest lesson I learned was don't get too close to the ground in the snow because it'll ruin your pictures. But they're definitely still usable. They're gorgeous. Thanks for watching. Till next time.